this, by the way, so when it goes
Good
live, I can
morning,
share.
everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Java with Jen and Jess. I am Jennifer Fernandez, Realtor and Branch Manager for the Property Pros Tampa office.
And I am Jessica Sherrill, Senior Loan Officer with Freedom Mortgage.
This morning, we are flipping the script on you guys. Normally, we are the ones putting somebody else in the hot seat. But this week, we've decided to put ourselves in the hot seat. And we have somebody who is amazing that is actually going to be doing the interview on us.
Yes, we cannot wait. So, introducing the most amazing Ted Bogert, who has honestly amazing, most incredible social media show on Facebook. It's the Ted. Cannot believe that I get to be interviewed by the Ted Bogert, Business Development Manager at Freedom, and such a great friend as well. He has a social media show that showcases all of the leaders and movers and shakers and the do-gooders in the community. Welcome, Ted Bogert. So excited
to I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. Thank you both for having me. I love, hey Lori, I love live. I love that you guys do this every Friday. I think it's awesome. I think it's brave to go out on social media and you guys make it look easy. So thanks for having me. So, hey guys, everybody's saying hi. I want to say hi back. So I'm going to go ahead and ask, kind of take over, if that's okay. It's like a crossover takeover.
Put my seatbelt on and get ready.
Get ready. So we on my show, we love to origin story, and I think it would be really cool if we could get to know you two more, not just from a business perspective, because we both know you're incredible entrepreneurs and business women, and that's already showcased. But we want to know the why and how you got here, and maybe a little bit more detail. So I'm going to start with Jen, since it is Welcome to Java with Jen and Jess. It's alphabetical too, right? Is that why? So hey, Jen, so tell us a little bit about you. Tell the audience, we'd like to know where you're from, and then obviously neither of you were born and had a real estate Barbie. So like I didn't have a mortgage G.I. Joe. What was your beginning like, and how did you get to where you're at?
Yeah, so born and raised in Tampa. As soon as I was allowed to start working, 15, I did. First job was Annie Ann's Pretzels and Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that sounds like a mall job.
I definitely contribute my customer service skills to Chick-fil-A, but through high school, I always tried to have 2 and 3 jobs. Why? I don't know. It was just instilled in me. Both of my parents came from, they did not have 9-to-5 jobs. They both were business owners, entrepreneurs, always on to something else. So I kind of grew up like that. I got into accounting accidentally, absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it. Maybe that's why I can calculate a 3% commission so well now. But anyways, absolutely hated accounting. So I got into family business with my mom, did that for several years, and decided, real estate was always something that I loved to watch. I was always intrigued in real estate. I was, helping somebody achieve the American dream was always something that I just wanted to do, and never really knew how to get started or where. And then one day it just literally kind of fell into my lap. I'm like, well, let's take the test. Let's do this. And again, I can do this part-time and still have the family business and get back to my 16-year-old and having 2 and 3 jobs. So I went out, and then once I got a taste of it, I said, this is all that I want to do. I love it. That first closing, that handing over the keys for that first time. And my first client ever was a young guy, bought a condo in Channelside. And it was just like, I did that. I helped him do that. And within 6 months, I was full-time real estate.
Isn't that amazing how a lot of people do tell me that they sort of fall into it, or it's kind of an afterthought. Well, I guess I'll try real estate. And then there's some of the most successful people in the business, and it's so funny how it kind of just falls into your lap.
I was blessed. when I like first got licensed, I was approached by a veteran in the game, if you will, and she kind of wanted to start a team, and I was like, what's a team? I mean, that sounds fun. Like, let's go play. Sure. So little did I know, she reached out to me because she was going on a 2-week cruise around the world and needed somebody to deal with her clients and maintain her pipeline. Well, when she came back, I had 6 contracts under my belt. And so needless to say, she kept me around. And then it was just uphill from there.
So I'm going to ask Jess the same question. So give us some origin, some background on you, Jessica, and how you got to your journey as the mortgage guru, loan person that you are today.
Well, before I start into what my history, 7 years ago, the story, Jen is amazing. And to hear her come from like, absolutely like, you know, where she's working at the Auntie-Am's or the pretzel place, whatever you know, and then be able to be where you are. And she's so amazing with clients. So that's awesome.
Don't make me ruin my lashes, Jess.
My stint actually started in 1999. I had a 4-year-old baby girl and a 2-month-old baby girl, and I was looking through some classifieds one evening. Anyone that's under 30, you probably don't know what that is, but it's called a newspaper. And I was looking for a better job, you know. And I found this little square in the middle of the paper, and it said loan officers will train. And I'm like, wow, I'm trainable. That's I have no idea what this means. And they hired me, and you know, that's where I learned the business. I had no idea what a mortgage was, what interest rates meant, and learned the business, you know, throughout, and kind of did everything but an underwriter position. You know, I've done everything but clean the bathrooms pretty much. And, you know, went through the mortgage evolvement, got out during the crash, went into banking and finance. I worked for Chase for several years and did very well there. And then I got recruited back into the business by 2 of my ex-bosses, actually. And they said, no, you have to get back in. And I was like, you're crazy. I'm not doing this. This is crazy. I was so traumatized. And then I just 3 months later took the test. Here I am 5.5 years later, and I love it.
So you both have, it sounds like you sort of stumbled into it then too. I mean, it wasn't something that you had set out to do.
Nobody grows up and says, I want to be a loan officer. Let me just say that.
Right.
Okay?
I think it's funny because it's such a real estate and is such one of the most pure entrepreneurial kind of businesses. So anything that touches real estate, mortgage, too, and yet we don't teach about it really. I mean, there are degrees now for real estate, not when I went to school, but it feels like a lot of people. Of course, it's not your first, second, or third thought unless you've been around people who do it and you realize the freedom it gives, the monetary opportunities it gives. And so, yeah, it's funny because there's very few people I've met or talked to that say, I wanted to be a realtor or a loan officer from the very beginning.
Right.
So it's such a cool thing. All right. So I want to ask about your whys though. So you get in and you know the business is good. But why? Why are you in it? What is the thing that motivates you to continue to get up and do your job and do it as well as you both do, and still keep plodding along? And we'll talk about it, we've been in a challenging time, especially the most of this year, or at least the last 4 or 5 months. So I'm going to start with Jess. What is it that continues to motivate you? What is your why behind what you do?
You know, the relationships that I'm able to connect with in this business is so amazing. It's like a lifetime of family. And I can't tell you how much it means to me to be able to connect with a family and be able to be that instrument for them to make their home buying, you know, dreams come true in a sense, you know. And, you know, as far as like what keeps me going, it's the more successful that I am, the more I can give back to other people. So I've been able to give back to people where, you know, when I was in my 20s, there's so many people that helped me, you know, financially, professionally, personally, that put me into a spot where I am who I am because of them. Bosses I've had along the way. I mean, it just, there's so many people. So, you know, I'm at a spot now where the more successful I am, the more I can give back to others in knowledge and money and, you know, being able to help the community and stuff. That's where you really truly are living. Do you know?
Yes.
It's kind of like this has been a source for me to be able to do that. And I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be in this spot again through the crash that we went through. It was so traumatizing back then. But to circle back and do a complete, you know, 180 with this business, it's been just an incredible journey for sure.
I love it. All right. How about you, Jen? What's your why? What motivates you?
I kind of have two whys, I think. One is I have teenagers, 15 and 16, almost 17 years old, and they're watching. They're watching me. They're watching mom. I may or may not take them on showings with me from time to time, but they're watching. And they you know, and as they've gotten older and I realize that, you know, like I said, they are watching, they've become a huge why. And like, I need to continue to be able to provide for them. And I want them to see, I want to be a good role model for them. I want them to see success and I want them to, you know, even if it's not in real estate, I want them to follow in my footsteps and have something of their own, a business of their own at some point. So I want them to look up to me. My other why would be helping, you know, kind of what I said in the beginning is helping families buy a home. I mean, it's just, you know, those 30 days from contract to close is stressful. You're a therapist, you're, you know, an advisor, but at the end of the day, you get to celebrate with them, and it made all of that, you know, kind of go away. And it's just the appreciation that you get from the clients at the end, just makes all of that stress worth it, and it makes you excited to go on to the next one. And then, you know, also the mentoring that I get to do, you know, Anthony, the broker of the Property Pros, has given me an amazing opportunity here in Tampa to be the branch manager and be able to mentor agents. I know what it was like coming, you know, being new in the game and kind of getting thrown into, you know, learning. So I just being able to have an agent that's been licensed a month and has already had her first closing is almost as, I mean, is as good as turning over the keys to a first time home buyer. So I want to, you know, I want to keep doing that and keep going and just keep that joy.
That's awesome.
I think I do too. That is awesome. I think we love that feeling of joy when you can get a homeowner into a home, or some on your side also, that house is sold and they're moving on to whatever their next chapter is. I think people that come into it just for the money are always going to be miserable. It's not that the money's not good, but I think that the money is secondary to that feeling you guys are talking about of helping and really putting some joy into people's lives. What do you think separates you? You know, there's so many of all of us, right? There's tons of loan officers. Oh, that's right. We're opposite. There's tons of loan officers. But I always like to think that I'm different and I do things differently, and that's what sets me apart. So be a little bravada and tell me what you do differently, what you feel is your strongest characteristic as far as what separates you from the crowd. And I'll start with you, Jen.
I would say probably my saying is save the client, not the deal. So my biggest thing is what is best for the client. There's always going to be a deal, but there's not always going to be that client. So putting the client first, making sure that they are happy. If they want that house that's only paying 1% commission, we're going to buy that house that's only paying 1% commission. You know, if If they need to wait 30 days, we're going to wait 30 days. I'm not going to, just push them under the rug because they're blowing me off because they want to wait 30 days. So I always make sure that I focus on the client, put the client first, no matter what it takes to get them to the closing table, and make them happy, because those are the clients that are going to generate more clients for you.
Agreed. I love it. Absolutely. How about you, Jess?
It's about the experience. I mean, one of my favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou, where she says, people do not remember, what you said, or, and I don't have this quote remembered exactly, so excuse me, but they remember how you made them feel, right?
Yes.
And I just, at the end of the day, I try to have people understand how I feel. I'm very expressive. Jen will tell you, I wear on my face, my sleeve. Everybody knows how I feel in the feeling that I have. But I want people to honestly connect and understand how invested I am in their transaction. And that comes from only by giving them when I meet with them, they get a face-to-face Zoom. I'm talking through the entire reason why they're buying a home, finding out about them. Where are they from? Where do they work? What do they like to do? It's all not just going through a list of profile questions. I honestly care about what they're doing and who they are. Every single one of my clients right now, like when they get an underwriting approval, they get a box of chocolates. I literally want them to feel special. I want them to remember the entire experience, not the transaction. Because at the end of the day, this is the biggest investment they'll ever make. And why not make them feel special? Why not have them, have an experience? Because at the end of the day, when they go buy their next, or when they go refi to be in a lower interest rate, who do I call? Me. So then I can get back to my real estate agents. That's what this all is all about. This is about creating a connection to welcome them into a family for the long term. So that's what makes me
I love that. It's about the relationship, the experience. And I think we've all been on the other side on a transaction where we actually feel badly for the people who are having to deal with the other people on the other side of the transaction. Because just because you can make money and it's a good market doesn't mean it brings in all the nice people. And so it can be challenging. And I sometimes feel sorry. I see people go through things, and I think if their realtor or lender just cared a little more, perhaps they would be having a better experience. But you guys are spot on. It's about connection, and it's about the actual relationship. It doesn't have to be a transactional only business.
Exactly.
All right. So when I say the word hero, what's the first thing that comes to your mind, Jess? Who?
Spot. Honestly, the first person that comes to my mind is my significant other, David Lindsay. He's I'm not going to get emotional. No, we've been together we've been together for 10 years, and I would have to say that he has taken me, as a banker, and taught me how to literally budget. He's taught me everything about credit. He taught me, literally just how to be better in sales. But he has given me like every single thing that I could ever ask for in my family too. And I just feel like he is definitely the best thing that ever happened to me.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Jen?
That's my hero.
Let me gather myself here, Jess. God, as cliche as it is, I would have to go with my mom, only because, as I mentioned earlier, she's always had some sort of business that she's owned. And no matter what it was, even if I didn't know a lick about what it was doing, I was involved in that business. Most of them, I actually ran the business. And again, not necessarily knowing what I'm doing, but she threw me to the fire, taught me what I needed to know. And I think if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have the mentality that I have now to have my own.
That's awesome.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, if everybody comes up, I'm never quite sure on that, because some people will say they're a sports hero. Lots and lots of people obviously say their parents or their significant other. Most of the time somebody cries. So it's it's an emotional thing. Why? Because we don't say it out loud to other people a lot. And so when you're saying those words and you realize you're saying them out loud, not to your person, but to the world, it can be kind of jarring, but in a good way. It's jarring in a good way. So you mentioned mentorship earlier, Jen, I think, or it could have been Jess. Both of you are mentors for sure. What are some of the things that you see the new agents that are coming in or new loan officers coming in that you can give them some recommendations on some things they could do better? Mistakes that maybe you made in the beginning that you don't want them to have to make now?
Well, consider we only have an hour show here. They're gonna make mistakes. It's just, it is what it is. It doesn't matter how amazing your brokerage is and how amazing your training is. You are gonna make a mistake. The biggest thing is how you deal with that mistake and what you do afterwards. You know, I recommend agents, when you're new coming in, the school is going to teach you how not to get in trouble. They're not going to teach you what you need to do to sell a house. You really need to partner up with somebody who is experienced and not worry about that it's going to take 20, 30, 40, 50% of your commission, because you need that support and that help in the beginning, and it's going to be worth every penny you give away to get that experience. I mean, I gave up 50% of my commission for well over a year, and I don't regret it at all.
I love it. How about you, Jess?
You know, I got back into the business after being gone years. It was a little intimidating. I mean, because I had never done a purchase in my life. You know, back in the day, it was refis, didn't know to save my life. I didn't know how to talk to a realtor, didn't have any contacts at all. And, you know, I just dug in. Every night you have to go to sleep and think of one more thing that you're not doing to grow your business, do that the next day. I mean, that's basically what I did. It was like building, which I'm still doing. You never stop evolving. You always are building on yourself from the day before. And I feel like, you know, you can't go into these industries, you know, real estate, lending, and go into it like it's a part-time job. Like, oh, you know, money, but I'm only working 4 hours a week. Or like, you have to grind. And I feel like everybody knows from my Facebook, or, you know, even if you've ever done business with me, it is about the grind. You can't, you know, pretend or, you know, I only answer my phones, you know, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, but I'm not available on the weekends. Listen, at the end of the day, if you are trying to build your business, then you need to hustle. And if you don't want to do that, don't, you know, want $1 million income and then you work a part-time job. Like, that's not how this works. So, I mean, I feel like you just need to make sure that you're prepared for the grind, and ask questions, and just get out there and do anything you can possibly do to connect to as many people as possible, and be selective. You know, I think, I don't know, you know, I tell people all the time, I said, listen, the first 6 months to a year, it is like the hazing process in this industry, okay? And I say that, you know, it's like you will go through so many, you know, dead conversations. You'll talk to anybody that has a pulse. You'll waste all kinds of time because you are so hungry, but that's okay. It's okay. Don't ever lose the hunger, but use those conversations and those go nowhere clients as experience, right? And it's just part of the grind, because eventually you're going to get good at those conversations and be like, oh, okay, well, this is how I would talk to a top producing agent, or this is how I will go after an affluent client. Be selective, and I don't know, things will just happen. I mean, I've seen it in my business. Jen, you've seen it in yours. That's what it is.
I think you're absolutely right. I feel like people look at where you all are, or might look at where I'm at as far as the show goes, and they think, well, it must be easy. Well, we make it look easy because we've been through the trials, we've put the grind in, we continue to grind, and so you're honing your craft. And a lot of I found a lot of people think it's almost like a get rich quick scheme. Oh, I'm gonna become a real estate agent. I'm gonna make my first million in the first 3 months. And it's not that it can't be done. It's just you have to set realistic expectations. And I think you have to do the grind. You have to put the work in. When I opened my insurance agencies back in the 90s, I was working, it felt like 24/7. But that's what you had to do. I mean, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. This is your business. What a fantastic opportunity that it's even out there for you to be able to do. But you're right about putting the work in. So I want to ask, you mentioned something about, somebody mentioned something about self-care, or what gets you through. I can tell you, I want to ask about your day. So I start my day with gratitude. Like I say, 5 things I'm thankful for. Even if I'm in a really not wanting to do that mode, I have to say, all right, I'm thankful I'm awake. But that sets the tone for my day if I start with gratitude. So I found that's successful for me. That's something that helps keep me kind of balanced or in line with where I should be heading. What do you all do? What's something that you do, routine, that is a positive that you can share with the world? Jen?
I say each morning before I actually get out of bed, I'll set my alarm a little bit earlier than what I actually need to get up for, and reflect on the day before and kind of think about what I could have done better. Did something happen during that day that went wrong? How did I react to it? What can I do today to maybe make that situation better if it was a bad situation? Or how can I, if it was a good situation, what did I do to get to that good point, and how can I do it again? So I do a lot of self-reflecting, and I think it just kind of makes me grow as a person, and being able to reflect on what I've done wrong as well as what I did right.
Awesome. How about you, Jess?
Well, I take my Bella, my Bichon Poodle, out for a walk, and so that's a routine now. But David and I, what we do is we reflect on the business, what I have going forward. He gives me ideas on like things I can, do as far as maximizing the business. He's very analytical. So being that I'm like, all over the place squirrel, he keeps me in line. So it's a good partnership. Even though he doesn't work for Freedom, he's in the background doing his thing as far as business coaching. And what's cool is elaborate on different things, as far as conversations, how to handle different things. So I think, having that morning like debrief and like making sure that, I'm kind of just setting the tone for the day, and I'm like, okay, I got this, and this. It really, really makes a difference because I am a squirrel. It keeps me kind of, it keeps me focused in my pathway to like what I need to like do. So
I think we all have to have something, right? There's got to be something. I love that you guys knew what your routine is, and that you continue to try to do it. And when people say that, or people will reach out later and say, well, I could never do that. Look, guys, there are days where I'm sure I forget. I try not to. It's never going to be a perfect scenario. So I just encourage people to find something that's going to start their day off on the right foot. I used to grab my phone, and that's the first thing I'd look at, and immediately the stress would kick in.
Yeah.
And I think that's not a good way to wake up. I think a better way is if you're not saying things you're grateful for, then at least have something where you meditate or pray or whatever it is that you do to kind of get your mind going, like Jen said earlier, to kind of get focused and figure out and reflect. So Great. All right, community. I want to talk about that because you guys, I know you are community-oriented people, very involved. Why is community important? Why is getting involved and giving back to the community important to you, Jess?
Because community's given back to me. I think, as a kid, I was, my mom was a single mom, whatever, and we didn't have a lot. And I feel like, when you have teachers in your life that have given back to you, I mean, I had teachers that were like my surrogate moms in a sense, right? And they were like there for me as far as teaching me things that, my mom was too busy to teach me, you know what I mean? So I think that at the end of the day, when I can give back to like a school, I actually do this where I haven't done it since the creation, obviously, but reading to preschool children, and enhancing like the literacy behind that. And it's like amazing when you can actually give a book to a child and have him say that that's his third book on his bookshelf, and know that, I had so many books as a kid that I couldn't even count them all, but this kid knew that this was his third book. That is, it's really amazing, to be able to do.
Love that. How about you, Jen?
I mean, community is everything. I'm born and raised here in Tampa. I joke around. I'm like, this is my city, because that's how I feel. Not that I feel I own the city by any means, but this is me. This is where I grew up. This is everything. And now that I am getting to a position to where I can give back, kind of what Jess said, give back to those who gave to me. And it's not necessary that I'm giving to the people that physically gave to me, but now I'm repaying it and giving it to the people who now need it, who are maybe in a position that I was in back then. So, I just think in the community is going to, the more you give to your community, the more you're gonna get from it, and your community is gonna stand beside you, just as we stand beside our community. So,
love it. I think it's so important. We're all community-oriented people. I think people underestimate the value of that, not just for personal satisfaction. You're helping people, you feel good helping the community, but it's so good for your business profile to be involved in the community. And I think people don't understand the importance of that. The majority of my connections are because I have been so involved in the community for so long, and it just snowballs. Like you guys were talking about earlier, or somebody maybe it was Anthony made a comment, clients refer clients. Well, if you're doing business in the community, that you're going to get referrals from that. So we love to do it, and that's not why we do it, but I think people make a mistake if they don't make it part of their business plan. So I want to talk a little bit.
One of the reasons why Jess and I started this show was to help bring the community together, not just in our topics, but we have the small business spotlight. Obviously we didn't do it this week because it was a little different show, but we do a small business spotlight, and we bring on a member of the community who owns a business and give them an opportunity to tell what they do. So it's just kind of our way of giving back to them.
And it's such a great way. So you answered the question. That was actually going to be my next question.
Oh,
so
sorry.
I was just going to say, so tell me about Welcome to Java with Jen and Jess. So when you focus on the businesses, what is the feeling that the person on the other end gives you? I mean, are they saying, well, how much do I owe you? Or how much do I, because you're giving people an opportunity to showcase their business, especially in this time. It's such a big thing to be able to give back, but I'm curious to see what some of your businesses might have said.
Can I take that one, Jen?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is kind of like amazing, and so my office, is at Armature Works, right? And there's like a ton of us here, and we showcased Move.com, a moving company. KJ Newman owns the company. And, we just met because we had what he calls it fishbowl. We had a glass across from each other, and we just started connecting. First it was a smile, a wave, and then it was an introduction. And then we just started talking and learning about each other's businesses. And then after the show, it's like, now, we're co-marketing, we're going to grow each other's businesses. He knows that if he has any, being moved out into a home, or they're looking to buy it, my information is going to be there. So, I mean, literally, this is huge, right? And it started with a hello. That's it. But after we showcased his business, we're partners, and we're here for each other, and it creates this like camaraderie, partnership, and advocacy for each other's business.
Great. You too, Jen?
I noticed a lot of them, just them being asked to do it. It's like, wow, like nobody's done this for me before. This is, I appreciate it. Like you said, no, they don't say, what do I owe you? But you can tell with their look that they're thinking it. What am I going to do in return? But we make it very clear. This is we just want to give you your 5 minutes of fame. Not that we're that big yet, but
no, you're celebrities.
and showcase themselves, and it's just, they are very, very grateful for it. And again, it kind of goes with the, with our helping families get into a home, seeing how grateful they are, and it's like, thank you so much. Can I give you a cupcake for this? And it's like, no, not at all. Like, we love you, so we want everybody else to love you as well.
So important. I love that you spotlight small businesses. I just think it's so critical. We need to, as our businesses are positive right now and growing and still healthy, giving back to those businesses that might not be in that same position is really critical, because there's so many people hurting. When we started doing 8 or 9 shows a day just to get the restaurant information out there when COVID first shut everything down. And it's just, I am now very good friends with those people. We get business from those people, and it was really just because I wanted to give back. And so what you guys are doing, big kudos. I want to talk about the business. I would be remiss if I did not at least ask about the market, talk about real estate, talk about mortgages a little bit. So let's start with you, Jess. Tell me what you're feeling. What's the temperature out there as far as the market goes? Florida has not shut back down all the way, at least most of it. What are you seeing?
Well, rates are incredibly low. Business is hot. The market is very, very good right now. I think in general, we're seeing obviously, low inventory across many regions because it's so, we are just trying to stir up the market. Obviously, everyone knows mortgages, real estate, stimulus. So I think the Fed is doing a really good job in keeping those rates as low as possible. So that continues. So we're just riding the wave right now. And, I think what stands out more than anything is that we have an amazing home team that is so supportive. And, there's within our team that just make it where us as loan officers, we don't have to worry about just being left on an island. We don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, do we have somebody that's there for us and for marketing, to get our brand out there? Do we have operations, that's willing to just work late, answer their cell phones, not just their direct lines to their office line, but we're talking, we have our entire operational staff working from their homes, $10 billion funded. I mean, this is like crazy, and we're a national lender. We service all of our loans. I'm just happy to be a part of this team. I mean, I can call boss's boss. Like, there's no limit to the resources that we have here. And I'm just happy to be here.
I love it. Well, I concur completely with that. I'm part of the same team. How about you, Jen?
Like Jess said, the market, it's crazy. We definitely need inventory. So if anyone's thinking of selling, but definitely low on inventory. Still seeing homes going into multiple offers, some, 5, 6 and above, even on a, homes that are priced appropriately. The virus just, it brought buyers out of the woodwork, and I don't know if people were just sitting at home and like, let's go buy a house today, we have nothing else to do. I don't know, but we, as a brokerage as a whole, we had a better April and May than we did last April and May. So the market is thriving. It really is. I mean, it's a blessing for everybody in the industry right now. But it's definitely a good time to buy if you are in the market.
I agree. I feel like the hesitancy, of course, was, will I be furloughed? Will I not be furloughed? If you hadn't been furloughed yet and there was a possibility you'd be laid off. So there are people that are in that boat, but I find the market to be incredibly healthy. I feel like people are still really wanting to engage. I definitely know inventory is low. It's just a challenge, but people are wanting to continue to try to get back to some sort of normalcy. And it was awesome that we were able to help so many families, even during COVID, and continue to do so. Last question. It's just going to throw it at you. What book or movie? I chose book last time, and the person told me they didn't read, so I correct that now. What book or movie makes you cry?
Oh.
I'll start with you, Jess.
Why you put me on the hot seat? Oh my gosh.
You'll pay me back later, I'm sure.
Oh my God. Okay, so what movie or book makes me cry?
Yeah.
You know what's funny, really funny about that is I cry at Publix commercials. I mean, I don't know if anyone out there does that, but like literally Publix makes me cry. Oh my God. I would say that, Publix definitely, but movies or books. I mean, I've never read a book that makes me cry. Other than I feel like I've read scripture out of the Bible, and I feel like that has made me emotional only because I'm a Christian and I believe in God. And
that's a great answer.
I feel like, you know what? Passion of the Christ. I couldn't sit still for 2 seconds and I was like sobbing. So I would say that was the only movie that like I really got heart wrenched or whatever. But yeah, I mean
that's perfect.
Publix and God.
At least you had something. That's good. I really made the last crazy. How about you, Jen?
So I'm going to be that I don't read person, unless it's how to sell.
I don't really either, so it's fine. I just
I don't cry a lot either.
See, that's a true statement, by the way.
I've had people answer that. That's why it's wide open.
There are certain people out there in certain situations that can get me emotional. I mean, I would have to, God, my first movie that came to mind was The Notebook.
Of course, I mean,
I do love a good.
Actually, probably the number one answer.
Oh,
is
I'm sure.
The Notebook.
I'm sure.
I don't know how you can watch that movie and not cry. It's hard. All right, you guys are a joy. We're at our time. I don't know if you have any parting words of wisdom or if you're taking over from here. You both are amazing. What great hearts. That's what you're doing in the community. And I think it's, I think getting out there and putting yourselves out, being authentic and vulnerable and wanting to promote and help other people is just such a big deal. So you really need to know how much of a big deal it actually is. So I'm very honored to have been part of the show today.
Well, we love you, Ted.
Thank you so much for doing that. We're honored to have you not only on the show but interviewing us on our show. So we greatly appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, Jess, until next week, we thank everybody for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or any ideas for the shows, we are always love to hear from you. If you are a small business and would like to be featured on the show, please send either one of us an email or reach out to us on Facebook. We will be happy to do so.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.